Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. This is US stock market recap video for the week ending March 13, 2026. This week the market tumbles once again, and mainly due to the oil price surging because of the Middle East Iran war, and you can see here the price of oil continue to climb higher, has the highest close right now. This is the weekly chart for Nasdaq. Currently, we are on the 9 weeks down downtrend here, and it is down 8% from the high here. We also touched the black line, the 40-week moving average here. So this is the daily chart. You can see we are just around the 22,000 mark, just crossing the 200-day line here just by a little bit. And we did make a new low, so the next low will be to test this low, 21,898. And if we do go further below the black line, that's not a good thing because we will have no further support line. We could, go down to 20,000 maybe as a round number, who knows? We are clearly under the upper channel line right here. So unless we can come back above that line, and also probably the red line, because the red line is not that far away, which is the 50-day moving average. So we can pass back above those two levels, then I think we could easily start to form the right side of the base here, and then we can continue on and break out from there. But right now, obviously, that's not the case, and right now we need to stop this bleeding, or maybe we will see more panic selling after this. We'll see. Here's the S&P 500 chart for the weekly chart, and also seeing S&P coming down pretty hard to the black line as well. So usually this is kind of a very important line of defense. Last time we broke this was over a year ago in the early 2025, and obviously we have a huge downturn there. But again, we are at critical level right here, because again, once we break that, we have no idea how far it will go. So very similar to Nasdaq chart, we are, very close to a round number, like a 60 previous support area here was 65.21. Right now it's 6500. So, and the 200-day line right here. So, we need to see support level. We need to see a bounce. It's gonna if it does bounce, it can come back to the upper channel line here, and which kind of coincide with the 50-day. So we do have a lot of room if we do bounce, but the 10-day is also coming down hard, so that's another tricky area. So right now we obviously look like a little bit oversold, but yeah, we could go down further, if there's more panic selling. This is the RSP S&P 500 equal weight ETF here. It actually, looks the same thing. It is coming down. However, Friday we didn't go down by much, and it just closed slightly lower, like negligible there. So it looks a little bit better, and we're also not at the 200-day line yet. This is equal weight Nasdaq 100. This one obviously looks a lot worse, and we are going to challenge the low here. We already blew past the 200-day line. 50-day line actually crossed that 200-day line, which is a very bearish move there. So we're probably going to be testing this 129 level here in coming days. So we'll see what happens as well. Again, there's not really much support line after this. I mean, there's no, it goes as far back as like early last year during the correction. So here's Dow Jones Industrial Average, also suffering a pretty bad loss this week. We come down all the way to the black line. The 40-week moving average is now down about 8% from the top here. So yeah, not looking good. Again, we're trying to find support at this black line now in coming days. On the daily chart, you can see it much clearer. We're having this downtrend line that is pretty steep. And right now we came down to this 200-day moving average, which is the black line, and we need to find support. And even if we do see a bounce again, we're seeing this upper channel line, so it might not bounce much before it comes back down again. Something to be cautious about. If we do fall below the black line, I have no idea where the next level is. So something to be aware of. Again, we're entering into the previous year's correction. It'll be nice if we bounce right here. That's the key. If we do see that bounce and we can pass all the short-term moving average, ultimately it will come back up and test the red line as well. That is the ideal situation if it does that. Here's the Russell 2000 weekly chart. It also suffered a pretty big drop this week. We're also coming down near the black line. It is down nearly 10% now. So here on the daily chart, you can see how steep the 10-day moving average is. So we did have a new closing low. Again, we're still quite a little bit above the 200-day, but I mean it's not much either. I mean it could be one day like down a few 2-3%, and we might be coming close to this 2400 mark here. So some of these round numbers, I think it was very crucial because it can be a possible, support level. So something to watch for. Next, we're going to look at the innovator IBD 50 ETF. This one also suffered 2 big weeks of drop here. It is come down to the black line as well. Notice all the index are near their long-term moving average, which is the 40 weeks or 200-day. This has dropped roughly 14% from the peak here. Looking at the daily chart, it tries to break out recently, but it fell after that. It did break out, but it fell after and it came back down. And then we came back up to test the short-term moving average, but again, we got denied there. And now we're back and making new recent low here. We had the black line 200-day moving average. So again, once again, we have the same pattern here on this ETF here. We had the 200-day. Are we going to see a bounce here? Are we going to get rejected at this downtrend line? Those are questions to find out eventually. And again, where's the next support level? There's really not much. I mean, the next one would be around this two levels here, the previous low 34.23 and 31.89. So yeah, something to see what happens next. So besides the oil price going upward, we're also seeing the US dollar jumping up quite a bit this week as well to new recent high. Here's also the 10-year Treasury yield also jumping very strong as well. Now it's near 4.28%. That's quite a big jump in the last 2 weeks here. For the week, gold also slide this week, coming down here. Here's silver also falling below its 50-day moving average as well. Here's Bitcoin. It is trying to come back up on Friday, but it closed at the bottom. Notice this chart pattern has tightened quite a bit in recent days and week. So it's quite interesting. And we have seemed to found support near the 1021 day for many days now. So that's interesting to watch. Now the red line it is coming down right now, and it hasn't got close to it, but we'll see what happens. It might continue to go sideways action as the red line comes down, and then we'll see if it can come back above it. So this is SMH Wenex Semiconductor ETF. So for the week, the chip area actually didn't close. It actually closed positive, up 1.7%. So that's very interesting after hitting a new low on Tuesday or Monday. Yeah, Monday it reversed from the lows, and then since then we're able to hold. And Friday it only dropped very little, 0.2%. So again, there seems to be a little bit of support here. We'll see if it can, come back above this 10-day here as well. Nvidia also lost its ground here on the red line, the moving average, and at this moment it is slightly below it, all the short-term moving averages. We still have the 200-day line coming up very close to it. So again, we need to see whether it will try to bounce back out again, or it can break down below the black line there. Here we're TSM in the downtrend clearly, and again it didn't close that red at all on Friday. It was up 0.4% surprisingly. So again, we're very close to the lows. Again, we need to see support, and push it back above the 10-day, or whether it'll continue to go down. AMD, very similar chart near the 200-day moving average, below the downtrend line near the 10-day and 21-day. Here's Broadcom also pulling back to the black line here, 200-day. Again, we tried to come above the red line here, but it failed. And now it's back down again. Next, we look at the software group, IGV ETF here. It was up for 2 weeks in a row, coming back to the red line, but this week we gave back. It was down 4.3%. Looking at the daily chart, you can see the 2 weeks of uptrend here, but like I said, this week we gave back, quite somewhat, and we are now below 1021 days. So hopefully it will find support right away and bounce back, because this was a really good uptrend, but we do have this 50-day line coming down as well. So that will definitely be another resistance level if it does come back up. Here's Palantir, very clear resistance line at the red line here, which is 50-day moving average. However, it is above the 10 and 21 day near it right now. So a very tight range, very tight trading pattern after coming from the bottom. So this might be productive. So yeah, so if we do clear this, there's really no other moving averages now because it will clear the red line, which is the 50-day and all the short-term ones. So definitely worth watching this one. Microsoft also bounced and then now it's been pulling back. Now it's falling back below the short-term moving average. Here's Google, also below the short-term moving average. So this one is still above Monday's low here. So that's not as bad. Here's Amazon, also finding resistance near the 10-day moving average. Just couldn't go above, stay above it. Here's Meta. Meta also start to make new low on Friday, which is not good. And it was on much higher volume as well. Here's Apple. Apple is also sliding down, making new recent low. So that's interesting. Now it's still above the black line 200-day moving average there. Here's Tesla, also finding resistance here on the upper channel line, and we tried to come out on Wednesday, yes, but it reversed, and then now we're back below the short-term moving average, and we're just sitting near this black line right now. So again, very tight trading recently, but not making much progress. Again, the red line is coming down, can act as resistance as well. So Netflix was bouncing very strong for 2 weeks, and then now this week it has pulled back. On Friday, it didn't go down further, like up 1%, so that might be a good thing. But we need to see it bounce off here. This is near the 10 days, so that's still pretty good action because it's still, somewhat above the 10-day here. So this is the second part of the video here. This week we're just going to combine both the growth stocks list into it as well. For the week, we have the market. I consider in correction mode. IBD changed their allocation to 0 to 20% on Friday. Again, after more selling this week, you can see the accumulation is pretty weak here compared to distribution. 532 stocks under distribution, meaning it's selling on higher volume. And also more industry groups like 96 versus 29 by the end of the week. On the sector side, we see technologies being sold off, retail sold off pretty hard. We have financial also sold off pretty hard, industrial as well, and health is also negative. And like really the only area is probably just energy, and even some commodities like have sold off like gold and silver. So yeah, only the energy really just holding that area up. Looking at my growth stock list, I monitor roughly 500 stocks, over 500 stocks that have already reported their earnings, and out of those stocks, 458 is in downtrend, consider downtrend, like roughly around 8 to 10% there. So it's come down quite a bit. It used to be like 30-40%, and then it started to go into the 20s, and this week we just went into the teens, and now we're below 10%. So many stocks are in downtrend or near their short-term moving average. So just not very good environment right now to be trading around these growth stocks, because a lot of them just fail quite easily. So here's the growth stocks list. First thing you'll notice here is many stocks are currently in downtrend, and that's below their 10 and 21 day usually. So there's lots of stocks. Even in the top 50 here, there's just a ton of stocks in downtrend right now. So they're all below their 10, 21 day. And then there's some that are still in uptrend, meaning they're above their 10, 21 day, or at least near it within 1%. So there's not many stocks. I think there's only like 80 something stocks out of 500 stocks. Actually no, 56 stocks that are in uptrend or near the short-term moving average. So the number is very low. So for this week, there's really not many stocks to talk about. We'll look at a few of them, just which one is still outstanding. Again, here in technology group, we have data storage, SNDK. Here's SanDisk bouncing really nice here this last week. Like, when the whole market is going down, this one is actually improving its relative strength line really strong, right? Outperforming the market. Here's Micron Technology. This one also doing really well. Look at this. It's now above the 10-21 day, climbing back on the right side of the base. It's reporting this coming week. So this could be have some risks related to that. Western Digital, WDC, also trying to bounce back above the short-term moving average. And STX is having a hard time coming back above the 10-day. Next on the list, we have CN in the fiber optics area. So Sienna is trying to come back above the 10-day. It's been holding pretty tight. This week is actually very strong relative strength performance. Again, this stock actually didn't go down much. In fact, it's up a little bit from up quite a bit from Monday actually. So this is doing well. In the same group, we also have Lumentum. However, this one is still below its moving average, so not doing as well. And we also have VIAV, YV Solutions in the same group. Also just holding on to the 10-day, having a hard time coming out of that. Next, we have Dell showing some strength as well. Here's Dell. It came out of earnings really nice. Then we start to pull back slightly to the 10-day before we close above the 10-day. So that was a good sign. And then from there, we start to move slowly. And now we're very close to this nice cup with handle pattern. Here's the cup and here's the handle. And then we have the top part top buy point here, which is near $153.72. Then we have Net, IoT, Cloud, and ATEN all in the software enterprise area. This is Cloudflare. Cloudflare is showing tremendous strength. Look at this 10-day slope. It's just riding back up on the right side here, coming very strong. Yeah, it hasn't even come down to the 10-day ones. And on Thursday, it barely dropped. And Friday, we also found support in the morning. IoT, this one had a strong gap out on earnings, but we have fallen back to the 10-day. So right now, it looks like it's finding support at the 10-day. It doesn't want to come back below it. So we just need to see that bounce here to get some follow-through action here on this bounce. Next, we have CloudStrike, also showing tremendous strength. Look at the 10-day slope here. It is currently trying to pull back to it. Again, we don't see a big sell-off here pulling below it. So right now it's just holding sideways, and we need to just see another bounce here. That might be actionable there. Next, we have A10 in the networking area. This one also starting to bounce, and we're very close to trying to break out here from this last high. So it looks pretty good as well. We have other stocks here. Credo trying to bounce back. Marvel, ALKT, DT, DSGX, Snowflake here, SONW, TSEM, VRSN, and EXTR. Again, not too many stocks in uptrend anymore. Next, we look at the retail side, and we're seeing Wolf and Cook at the top here. Let's take a look at those two. This is a Petco doing really well. Gap up on earnings. It followed through the next day. This is a very small price stock, so not as liquid. But yeah, so it's moving quite a bit the last 2 days. Definitely extended right now, but yeah, but it might be worth watching this stock if this become stronger. Coca-Cola is definitely doing really well. Not your typical growth stock, but look at this chart pattern. It's just tremendous strength right here. Found support at the 10-day multiple times, and now it's at new high. It's just very strong. Look at the blue volume much above average, and then the sell volume recently was very low. We also have a couple of food related stocks, UNFI and ADM doing well. Predo is a service education stock. We also have TAL down here. In the retail internet, we have CART and eBay. And then we have on the retail side chain for consumer items, we have Costco and Walmart here as well. Then we have QSR as one restaurant. Next, we move on industrial. Again, very short list this week. Just only a few stocks are in uptrend right now. We have VRT at the top here. This one also recently pulled back, but it's still above last week's Monday low. So we'll see if we can bounce here near the 10-day. Next, we have Century Aluminum. This one in the processing area. It also pulled back on Friday here to the 10-day. This one looks a little bit choppy, but it is still in a mild uptrend here. In the gas distribution, we have National Fuel Gas. This is a nice cup with handle, really big cup. And then they break out on Friday here very decisively, looking really strong. We also have ULS in the containers packaging, QNST in advertising, NI, utility diversified, and Link in the chemical specialty. On the health side, again, not many stocks at all, only 5. And the first one is rank 88 AHCO. This is Adapt Health. And it's trying to break out on Friday. I'm not sure what the news is. Probably some news here that make that big move. It was up 8%. It's a very choppy stock, under around $10 right now. So definitely any stock under $20 generally have a volatility. Here's Liquidia LQDA. This one is on a nice uptrend. It just pulled back recently. It's trying to hold on to the 10-day, so we'll see if it can succeed. Volume has been below average in the last few selling days, so not too bad. Next, we have Syndax Pharmaceuticals, symbol SNDX. This one also bouncing since the earnings and very strong uptrend as well. Look at the 10-day slope here. It did come down to on Friday after going sideways for a few days. So now it may test this short-term moving average. Here we have AXGN also near short-term moving average and MDGL trying to bounce back as well. Moving on to commodities and energy area, like most of these are energy you can see here, and also coal. So oil and gas and coal. I don't see any gold or silver stocks here. So that's what's happening here. We have TPL at the top. So with oil price, really high, these stocks are doing pretty good. This one is quite choppy recently, TPL, after making a huge run here. Looks like it's digesting pretty well, going sideways, and so far it's been finding support at the 10-day. It just doesn't want to come down below that. So it's worth watching this. If it come above this previous high here, there might be another opportunity. This is Landbridge, oil and gas firm, also bouncing here on Fridays, and Thursday it recover from the lows here. So far it's looking good. Look like it's finding support at the 10-day. Next we have Vista Energy. This one also bouncing very strong on Thursday and Friday, making new high. Here's Antero Resource, also bouncing really strong from since Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, making new high. Here we also see EQT in the oil and gas area, refining PSX. We have YPF, oil and gas, CRK, and then we see here a field agriculture area, DAR and SQM. So this is DAR bouncing off the 10-day. It did pull back on Friday though. SQM, this one looks slightly weaker. It kind of got rejected near the 10-day and the red line there as well. Here we also see coal, like coal stocks here. Let's look at them. CNR. Here's CNR bouncing nicely. Look at the channel line at the bottom here along the 10-day. It's even Friday was didn't want to close at the lows, so it looks really good as it come back here on the right side of the base. Here's BTU, Peabody Energy. This one also trying to come out, but Friday it did reverse to the red line here, short-term moving average. So we'll wait and see if we can find support here at this level. AMR, Alpha Metallurgical. This one also bouncing nicely on the bottom channel line. It did pull back on Friday as well. And we also have HCC. This one is still near the short-term moving average, so we need to come back above this and the red line as well. Lastly, we have the financial area. Well, look at this. There's only two stocks, and even those two are just barely holding on to their short-term moving average, EQIX and GEO. This both are in the REIT area. So if I show you the full list, it's pretty much everything. All the financial stocks are in downtrend. That is pretty crazy here. Again, this week's video is a little bit short just because of the nature of the market. It shows you it's definitely a tough time for growth stocks. I would be very patient and just watch and let time be, guide you towards slowly incrementing back into the market. If we see things, starting to show some movement above their 10 days, that's usually where I usually trade, is when they start moving above 10 days. But because of the market, such a turbulence and so much volatility, it could bounce back above the 10-day and then drop back down next day. And we've been seeing that for a while now, except now most of the stock are just don't even come back to the 10-day. They just keep falling. So either we see more panic selling and have it drop a lot more before we see a more sustainable bounce, or we just continue this trend where it just tend to keep sliding down and the stock keep coming bounce back to it and drop further again, like basically making lower lows and lower highs, right? Thank you all for watching. I hope this video help you in any way. Please like, subscribe. Again, thank you for your support.